Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers. I welcome all listeners and learners. I welcome all the respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable ministers, managers, honorable doctors, directors, advocates, advisors, administrators and advisors, the most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji, and Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily cordially welcome. It is very nice time, nice place, nice action. We are appreciating our Indian holy culture in the form of unity and diversity. Our forefathers, foretellers, free thinkers, freedom fighters, those who came in India for addressing the message of oneness, equality. We respect them because of their sacrifice, devotion towards holy Indian culture. Indian holy motherland created, generated, operated in the form of freedom fighters, starters, beginners, initiators, creators, generators, operators. It is said in all our holy religions of this holy land that imagination is the best educational technology. Let us explain the characteristics and medico-legal importance of death by starvation, cold and hot. Many a times such cases come before the medical officers in which death is due to hunger, cold or heat. In such cases, the medical officer has to ascertain the cause of death by conducting medical examination very carefully. Starved to death, food is necessary for life. Without food, a person cannot survive for long. Sometimes a person dies immediately due to excessive hunger, and sometimes after a long time. It depends on the intensity of hunger. Symptoms of death of a person on hunger strike, they will gradually. What are its symptoms? If death is caused by hunger, the following post-death symptoms are reflected on the body of the deceased. The body becomes lean and fall swelling. The skin becomes dry and shriveled. The amount of fat under the skin decreases. Hair is dry, lustreless and brittle. Nails are raised and brittle. The lips are dry and cracked. The bone is raised. Life expectancy of tissue decreases. Muscles become loose, fat free and smaller in size. Cheeks are sunken, eyes are sunken and hands and legs become thin. Decomposition starts quickly. Except the brain, all other organs lose weight and become smaller in size. The entrails are yellowish, the stomach is found empty and its shape becomes like that of the large intestine. The intestine becomes transparent due to its thinness. The gallbladder is found to be filled with bile and distended. Bladder is found empty. Apart from this, a person dying of hunger may also have other symptoms. What is the medico-legal importance? From the point of view of medico-legal importance, the following two things have to be studied in cases of death due to starvation. Did the death really happen due to hunger? Whether the death was due to murder, suicide or accident. Om Prakash versus State of Punjab, EIR 1961, SC 1782 is a good case in this regard. In this, a woman named Vimla Devi was married to Om Prakash in October 1951. In the course of time, the relationship between husband and wife became bitter and wife went to her brother's place. Meanwhile, on the persuasion of her husband, she again started living with her husband. This time also he was treated mercilessly. He was kept hungry. Food was not given to her for many days. She lived on gram, fields and water. His condition had become very weak Hence, prosecution was initiated against the husband. The Supreme Court held Om Prakash guilty of attempt to murder under Section 307 of the Indian Penal Code, as he wanted to starve his wife to death. Death by starvation is ascertained on the basis of post-mortem symptoms. Most of the cases related to starvation death are due to murder or hunger strike. Death by cold. Sometimes a person dies due to extreme cold. When there is extreme cold and there are not enough clothes on the body, then a person dies. Mostly people living on footpaths, roads and forests become victims of death in winter. What are its symptoms? The following symptoms are found on the body of the deceased after death due to cold. The whole body becomes stiff. The color of the bare skin becomes reddish in between. At other places the skin is yellow in color. Internal blood vessels are found filled with blood. The color of blood is like that of arterial blood. Pulmonary edema may be found. Post-mortem blue color is also red due to oxygen deprivation. Local damage such as low foot or trench foot may also be found. Other symptoms of death from cold can be found. In such cases, the test is required to be done very carefully. What is the medico-legal importance? The medico-legal importance of death due to cold is due to the following reasons. Generally, cold does not cause suicide. Most of the cases of death due to cold are accidental. Sometimes cold can lead to human slaughter. Most of the time, death due to cold is due to lack of adequate clothes. All these things are detected by autopsy. Heat death like winter, many times a person dies due to death by starvation is ascertained on the basis of post-mortem symptoms. Many times a person dies due to heat, walking in scorching heat, sun, roaming or traveling in heat strokes, working on furnace, working in mines, working in factories with high temperature, etc. causes death due to heat. What are its symptoms? After death due to heat, the following post-death symptoms are found on the body of the deceased. Septic formation takes place very quickly. Hypernemia, hyperemia is found in the internal organs. Edema can be found in the lungs. The eyeball sinks down. Other symptoms can be found on the dead body, such as burning of the skin, blackening of the skin, etc. In such cases, the autopsy is expected to be done with the utmost care. Medico-legal importance. In cases of death caused by heat, the main purpose of the autopsy is to conclude whether the death was due to heat stroke. What is infanticide? What is meant by dead, born child and stillborn child? Let us explain. Infanticide is a serious crime. Although infanticide is not found anywhere, literally infanticide refers to the killing of a newborn child. There can be many reasons for such a murder. In fact, such murder can be done with the intention of killing, so it can also be done to hide illegal pregnancy or illegal child. Generally, infanticide is done for the following reasons: with intent to actually cause the murder of a child, death in an accident caused by negligence or carelessness, to conceal the birth of a child by an unmarried woman, or to conceal an illegal pregnancy on the birth of a child by a married woman. Many times the baby dies in the womb itself and comes out of the womb in a dead state. It is not generally considered infanticide. Determining infanticide is a very difficult task. For this, first of all, it has to be seen whether a living state or in a dead state. From this point of view, the infant is classified into categories. One is dead-born child and two is stillborn child. Dead-born child. A dead-born child means such a child who has died in the womb itself. Such a baby is surrounded by amniotic fluid like amylase in an air-free environment inside the uterus and sterile. Autolysis begins. This is called sterilization. What are its symptoms? The following are the symptoms of a dead-born baby. The dead-born child is soft. It is sterile. The infant appears normal and has soft skin unless it has died within a day or two. In case of prolonged immunization, the body of the baby becomes so soft and loose that it spreads out on the table. Blisters appear on the skin which contains slimy fluid. The umbilical cord is thick and soft. The bones of the crown can be found lying on each other. Septic building has nauseating odor, green color of the skin, and formation of gases. Stillborn in baby. Stillborn baby means a baby who is born after 28 weeks of pregnancy and who is not breathing after exciting the uterus. On exciting the uterus, such a baby does not show any signs of life on its body. What are its causes? The main reasons for a stillborn baby can be the following: illegitimate pregnancy, immaturity of male babies, immaturity of the child, and not getting help from others at the time of delivery. It is believed that the number of stillborn babies in India is relatively high. Here its ratio is considered to be 17:1. In cases of first delivery, this ratio is 11:1. Testing. As we have seen above, it is very difficult to find out whether a child has taken birth in a dead state or in a living state. That is, if the child dead born or stillborn. Some important signs of life are found on the body of a live-born baby, which are generally not reflected on the body of other babies, such as shouting, movements in the limbs, contraction of the muscles of the eyes, respiration, pulse, pulsation, etc. What are the methods of detection? Whether a child is born, alive or not, can be ascertained by the following methods. But by circumstances, a live-born baby can be detected by the following condition: on the basis of the child crying out, on the basis of opening the eyes of the child, on the basis of pulse, pulsation in the umbilical cord and heart. All these things remain in the knowledge of such person who were present with the child at the time of its birth. Then it is not even conclusive evidence by autopsy. Another way to detect live birth is through autopsy. This is necessary because there is a presumption in law that a newborn child who is found dead is stillborn unless the contrary is proved. The following points are taken into consideration during autopsy. After birth, the process of air entry into the lungs starts. After birth, the process of air entry into the lungs starts and blood transport becomes operational. Flattened thorax becomes spherical after complete respiration. After respiration, the diaphragm is found at the level of the 6th or 7th rib. After respiration, the lungs expand completely from the chest cavity and spread over the heart and thymus gland. The size of the lungs increases. The surface becomes somewhat rough and the edges are rounded. The blood turns red due to respiration, hence their color also becomes red. After death, the lungs of the infant may become pink due to contact with air, but its air sacs may not expand. In cases of failure of respiration, lungs are found behind the heart and thymus land in the thoracic cavity. They are small, smooth, bluish red in color and have striped edges. They are without crepitation when pressed with fingers and are firm when cut. Instead of foaming out of these, only blood comes out. They sink when dropped in water. Only hydrostatic test of the baby. The following symptoms appear. The specific gravity of lungs with respiratory function is about 950 lighter than water, while the specific gravity of non-respiratory lungs is about 1050 heavier than water. Lungs with respiratory function float on water, while non-respiratory lungs sink in water. When respiration starts, blood circulates in large quantity in the lungs. The ratio of lungs to body weight before respiration is 1:70, while it is 1:35 after respiration. If air bubbles come out of the water on examination of the gastrointestinal tract, the test is considered negative and no conclusion can be drawn on the basis of this test. This happens when the gastric bands are put into the water and when they are found floating. It is seen by piercing them inside the water whether the air inside them comes out or not. On other side, some such signs are found on the body of the baby born alive, on the basis of which it can be ascertained whether the baby is born alive or not. Such signs can be as follows: wearing clothes, etc. on the body of the child. The fetal affections have been cleared. Presence of milk in the stomach. Having signs of prolapse of the umbilical cord. Absence of pregnancy in the large intestine, etc. State the medical legal importance of examination of dead body in the cases of infanticide. Let us explain the various causes of death of a child. The main medical legal importance of autopsy of the infant is to ascertain the cause of death of the infant. If the death of a child is due to natural or accidental causes, no offense is constituted, but if the death is caused by violence, it definitely constitutes an offense. In such cases, it becomes necessary to find out the cause of death of the infant. This is the medico-legal importance of autopsy. Natural causes. In its natural causes, the cause of death of most infants is natural. The following can be natural reasons for the death of such newborns: infirmity, immaturity, malpractice, maternal disease like syphilis, fever, etc., pulmonary, heart or brain disease of the infant, bleeding in the umbilical cord, stomach, rectum and genitals, malformed pregnancy, etc. Accidental causes. Another cause of death of newborn babies can be accidental. It is a cause which is not foreseen and which is not controlled by anyone. Such death may occur at the time of delivery or after it. Contingent reason can be as follows. Delayed delivery at the time of birth, which is more likely in the first delivery. Death by asphyxiation, which occurs when the prolapsed part of the cord in the part of the umbilical cord gets pressed against the head of the baby at the time of delivery. In such a death, the lungs of the baby are devoid of air and the blood count is low on their surface. Death from formation of the umbilical cord and premature separation of the placenta. If the mother dies during childbirth, the possibility of death of the child becomes strong. Death by suffocation. Death by suffocation after birth occurs when the mouth and nose of the infant are closed by the covering of the womb in childbirth, or its nose and mouth are buried by cloths. Sudden birth of a child, for example, birth of a child, when the mother is standing and the child falls on the ground causing injury to its head or body, or when the mother is in the toilet and the child falls in the place of excavator. What are the violent causes? Violent causes of infant's death are important from the medical legal point of view. It is also called criminal cause. Such a death is performed when an unmarried or widowed woman becomes pregnant. Violent ways of such death can be as follows: by asphyxiation. In death by asphyxiation, death is caused by closing the airway, such as by pressing the face or head with a pillow, or by covering the nose or mouth with clothing or hands, or by pressing the chest. In such a death, there are usually no signs of violence on the body of the infant unless excessive force was used. By strangulation. In most of the cases, babies are killed by strangulation. The throat is either strangled with hands or by using hostage. If strangulation is done with hands, then fingerprints, glue and nail scratches are found on the throat, and if strangulation is done by wearing a banda, then there are marks of banda on the throat. Such a banda can be found lying at the scene, which is it is expected to be preserved for evidence. Drowning in water for the purpose of concealing the causes of death, restoring the evidence, etc. Many times the child is strangled, etc., and is thrown into a pond, river, well, drain, pit, or dustbin. It is also often seen that babies are thrown away by wrapping or clothing them in cloths, newspapers, bags, boxes, etc. Similarly, many times live babies are also left in unprotected places where they die by giving poison. The method of killing babies by giving them poison is very ancient. In this opium, sanitropis, juice, arsenic, madder, tobacco, natura, coal ash, etc. are used. In such cases, chemical test of stomach etc. is done. Fracture. Incidents of causing death of infants by fractures are also commonly prevalent. In this, either the head of the baby is hit or it is thrown on the floor, ground or ball. In such cases, the sign of violence is are clearly reflected. Microscopic examination of signs of fracture and precipitate delivery is necessary in such cases. By causing injury, many times newborn babies are killed by holes or piercings. Needle, scissor, pin, etc. are used in this work. Autopsy has medico-legal importance in case of death or murder of a newborn child. Such a test is mainly done to find out whether was the child born alive, whether the child was stillborn, was the child born dead. Many precautions are expected to be taken in autopsy to find out these things because the symptoms of such death are generally similar. At the time of such post-mortem, the following points should be kept in mind and tested. Examination of the clothes found on the body of the child, marks found on the body of the child, examination of the body shape, condition, height, weight, etc., alteration of puppy, oven, umbilical cord, signs of birth defects, malformations, examination of head, neck, chest, abdomen, intestine, stomach, genitals, etc. What do you mean by abortion? What are the various kinds of it? What provisions have been made in India? Penal Code 1860 in this regard. It is the right of every woman to conceive and give birth to a child through sexual intercourse before marriage. But this right becomes a curse when a woman gets pregnant after having illicit sex with a stranger. In such a situation, the woman either tries to have an abortion or tries to hide it or to cause her death. Such abortion has been considered a punishable offense in the Indian Penal Code. What is abortion? Abortion is also called abortion in common parlance. Abortion means taking out or separating an undeveloped child or fetus from the womb of a woman at any time before the completion of the period of conception. The simplest terms, it can be said that abortion is the expulsion of the contents of the womb outside the uterus during the period of pregnancy. The word pulsation is very important in the context of abortion. Pulsation refers to that feeling of a woman which appears to her in the 4th or 5th month of pregnancy. What are the types of abortion? Abortion is mainly considered to be of two types. Natural, for example, natural abortion, and artificial abortion. Artificial abortion can also be of two types, legal and criminal, natural natural abortion. Natural abortion Natural abortion refers to spontaneous abortion due to natural causes. Such abortion is usually natural or accidental. The number of such abortion is high in India. According to a survey, 1 out of every 5-6 pregnancies end in miscarriage. The main reasons for natural abortion can be the following: a pregnant woman suffering from physical disease like Aegyptian virus or other infectious diseases like syphilis, etc. Occurrence of disease related to reproductive organs like swelling, prolapse, fibroid, etc. Excessive fear, happiness, sadness, anger, stupor, etc. in a pregnant woman. Falling, getting hurt or getting hit on the stomach. Death of fetus in the uterus itself, etc. Artificial abortion, different from natural causes. For example, intentional abortion or getting it done is called artificial abortion. When it is done in a lawful manner, it is called a legal or justifiable abortion, and if it is done by a criminal intention, it is called a criminal abortion. What is legal abortion? In relation to legal abortion, a provision has been made in the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. There can be many reasons for such abortion, such as medical, human, social, etc. To protect a woman suffering from heart disease, cancer in breast or genitals, becoming mentally deranged, mad or inert, becoming anemic, there is a possibility of the child being born with a physical or mental disorder. Pregnancy resulting from incidents such as rape, remaining pregnant despite birth control, apprehension of harm to the health of the pregnant woman, the family being in financial crisis or likely to become so, already having more children, etc. Legal abortion is expected to be done with the opinion of the doctor and in good faith. Criminal abortion. In our country, there is a trend of criminal, for example, abortion against the law. Many such cases have started coming to the force. The main reasons for such abortion are the following: getting pregnant by widow women who are deprived of remarriage, getting pregnant by unmarried women, abortion of pregnancy due to family or social prestige, abortion in the fear of having a girl child, etc. It is called feticide. What are the provisions of the Indian Penal Code? Sections 312, 313 and 314 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 provide for abortion. From the point of view of medical legal importance, study is necessary. As per section 312, whoever voluntarily causes a woman with child to miscarry shall, if such miscarriage be not caused in good faith for the purpose of saving the life of the woman, be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both, and if the woman be quick with child, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description of for a term which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Thus under 312 such abortion has been considered as a punishable offence, which is voluntarily caused, is done maliciously, and is not done to save the life of the pregnant woman. Abortion or causing abortion of pregnant woman is considered a serious crime, and the amount of punishment for this is also high. As per section 313, whoever commits the offence defined in the last preceding section without the consent of the woman, whether the woman is quick with child or not, shall be punished with imprisonment for life, or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Thus section 313 declares abortion to be a punishable offence without the woman's consent. In this regard, there is a quotable case of year 1987, Kerala 184. In this, it has been determined by the Kerala High Court that for the applicability of 313, it is necessary to have an abortion done without the consent of the woman. If a person takes a woman to a doctor for abortion, and she submits herself to the doctor for abortion, such person cannot be convicted under this section unless it is not proved that the person took the woman to the doctor against her will and got her aborted. As per section 314, whoever with intent to cause the miscarriage of a woman with child does any act which causes the death of such woman shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. If that act is done without the consent of the woman, then he can also be punished with imprisonment for life. Thus, under section 314, such an act has been declared punishable for abortion of a pregnant woman, which results in death of a pregnant woman. For this, it is not necessary for the person doing such act to know that such act is likely to cause death. Thus, in section 312 to 314 of the Indian Penal Code, provision has been made regarding abortion. What are the various modes of abortion, and state the medico-legal importance of abortion. Abortion methods. Mainly two methods of abortion have been described: abortion by drugs and abortion by violent methods. Here we will throw light on both separately. Abortion by drugs. This is an easy and popular method of abortion. Pregnant women usually use such drugs to terminate their pregnancy, which usually cause abortion. But these medicines sometimes cause the death of pregnant women, or they start having adverse effects. Such medicine can also be of two types: the use of such medicine which have a direct effect and those which have an indirect effect. The uterus becomes constricted and the possibilities of its emptying become strong. The following drugs are mainly used for abortion: quinine, cotton, root, bark, surrogate, borax, APL, oil of Sivian tartar emetic, Vachik castor oil, cotton oil, skiname, skimony, color se, gambos, aloes, apical, pennyroyal, juniper, diluent in the form of pills, lead, arsenic, mercury chloride, potassium bicarbonate, Nila Kotha, camphor, papaya reed seeds, raw pineapple seeds, madder milk, bitter gourd, nutmeg, saffron, sawa, garter seeds, etc. Apart from these, there can be other medicines and equipment for abortion. Abortion by violent means. Another method of abortion is the use of instruments and violent means. There is a belief that a slight pressure on the uterus increases the chances of miscarriage. This is the reason why hard work is prohibited for pregnant women and they are also asked to work much. Nowadays, the incidence of forced abortion have started increasing. Violent methods are being used in abortion. Generally, such methods are considered as following: exercise, doing hard work, running, cycling, horse riding, jumping from a height, long jump, massaging the stomach vigorously, typing bandage slightly on the stomach, fetching water from far away, branding, piercing with pins or pencils, knitting needles, towels, etc., taking injections, using bactericidal substances, soaking abortion tubes in abrasive substances and entering them into the mouth of the uterus, introducing glycerin, etc., into the uterus, cervix, ingress of laminaria, use of electricity, frequent hot and cold baths, etc. Although these measures are used very carefully by abortion-seeking women, midwives, lawyers, doctors, etc. Although the measures are used very carefully by abortion-seeking women, midwives, lawyers, doctors, etc., yet their danger remains medico-legal importance. If it is of legal or living persons, then their medical importance is not much and the medical legal importance of abortion is very high, provided such abortion is not of natural, legal or living person. If the abortion is natural, such cases are not brought before the medical officer. Generally, abortion is considered to be of medical legal importance in the following cases: when the abortion is artificial, by assault, etc., caused by accident, fear, anger, etc., other violent causes, or there is an allegation of abortion and the woman denies it. Whenever such a case comes before the medical officer, the following tests are done. By him. Physical examination. The medical officer first conducts a physical examination of the woman who undergo abortion. If a woman survives after an abortion, then generally all the symptoms of childbirth are found on her body. The marks of childbirth are found on the body of such women. Such signs depend on the following three things: development of the fetus, the time elapsed since the abortion, and the method of abortion. If abortion is the result of drugs, then symptoms of poisoning definitely appear on the body. Special attention is paid to first form of vagina and genitals. The shape of the opening of the uterus, sign of rupture, marks of acute, size of the uterus, shape and characteristics of breast, the virtues of immersion, condition of the front wall of the abdomen, etc. But if a woman dies after an abortion, special care is expected in the physical examination of such women. Generally, the following symptoms appear in such women. If a woman has had an abortion as her first delivery, then when milk comes out from the breast of such a woman, it is considered that the abortion is fresh. That is, if a woman has an abortion at her first delivery, then when milk comes out from the breast of such a woman, it is considered that the abortion is fresh, that is, it is of some time ago. If there are marks of piercing or laceration, that is, on the genitals of such women, it is an indication that any instrument has been used in the abortion, any tool or instrument has been used in the abortion. The time of abortion is known by whether there are signs of infection outside or inside the uterus. If there are such signs, then how much is this section and how far has it spread? It is also seen whether any fluid has been inserted cervical passage and uterine cavity, and if it has been inserted, then what is its quality and the reason? Whether abortion is the result of any surgical operation. If abortion is the result of surgery, then the marks of such surgery will definitely be found on the genitals of the woman. If woman has been used for abortion, chemical examination of the uterus and appendages is carried out. The weight and size of the uterus are also marked. The condition of pregnant uterus is generally considered as weight 45 grams, length 7.5 cm, width 5 cm, thickness 2.5 cm. During pregnancy, the height keeps on increasing month by month. The urinary tract and gastrointestinal tract of such women are also examined. Testing of abortifacient substances along with the physical examination of the pregnant woman, microscopic examination of the substances found in the uterus is also done. Such test is also required in respect of the deceased woman. During this abortion, there is a possibility of ovum or part of ovum coming out of the womb and they being stained with blood. Therefore, it is desirable to examine them carefully. Gestational age of determination. Gestational age has a medico-legal importance in cases of abortion. Hash's law is followed to determine the gestational age. According to Hash's law, the head to feet length of the fetus is centimeter. Is the square of the number of calendar months of pregnancy. For example, if the pregnancy is of 3 months, then its length will be 9 centimeter. After the 5th month, multiplying the numbers of the month by 5 will give the height in centimeter. If the gestational age is 6 months, then the length will be 6 into 5. For example, 30 centimeter. A similar formula has been prepared on the basis of weight. According to this, the average weight of the fetus at the age of 20 weeks is considered to be 400 grams and it increases by 400 grams every 4 weeks. The only exception is that in the last 4 weeks of pregnancy there is a weight gain of 200 grams per week. In this way, the weight of the baby at 36 weeks is 2 kg and the average weight of the baby in the whole 9 months is about 3 kg. Symptoms. What are the symptoms of criminal abortion? Mainly the following symptoms are found in criminal abortion. Bleeding starts due to internal damage and perforation in the uterus. When a liquid or soap solution is injected into the uterus through a syringe under pressure, the surface of the uterus is torn and the air fat enters it. Abortion may be caused by the effect of toxic substances when it is used. If a woman dies due to bleeding, the organs of the uterus and the vagina become anemic and pale. What are the difference between natural and criminal abortion? It is very difficult to differentiate between natural and criminal abortion, yet the difference can be seen in the following form. In natural abortion, no signs of damage are found on the genitals and there is no damage, whereas in criminal abortion, signs of damage are found on the genitals and damage can also occur. Signs of violence are not found on the abdomen in natural abortion, while signs of violence can be found in criminal abortion. There is no possibility of harm to the fetus in natural abortion, whereas there is a possibility of harm to the fetus in criminal abortion. Toxic effect of drugs is not visible in natural abortion, whereas toxic effect of drugs can be visible in criminal abortion. In natural abortion there is no sepsis, whereas in criminal abortion there is sepsis. What is sexual offense? What are the various kinds and causes of sexual offenses? Among the crimes committed against the body, sexual crimes are considered serious and heinous crimes. According to the Supreme Court, sexual offences are crimes against humanity. State of Rajasthan versus Om Prakash, AIR 2002 SC 2235. Similarly, the Supreme Court in another case has considered sexual offences as an encroachment of the fundamental right to life and personal liberty guaranteed by the Constitution. State of Punjab versus Ramdev Singh, AIR 2004, Section 1290. What is sexual offence? The word sex is indicative of the action associated with the genitals of the human body. Shame, dissolution, sexual intercourse, etc. are prominent in such activity. Sex is also called sexual intercourse. When such intercourse is done by a husband and wife duly married, then it is considered to be the discharge of marital duties. But when such an act is done illegally, for example by non-women and non-men, then it takes the form of crime. Therefore, sexual intercourse or any other similar act done by a man and a woman without each other's will and consent is called sexual crime. Such crime is mainly related to sex, forced sexual intercourse by a man with a woman, anal sex, oral sex, rubbing the penis on a woman's vagina, stripping a woman, etc. are good examples of sexual crime. Types of sexual offences. There are many types of sexual crime. Such sexual offences are mentioned in various statutes. The main sexual offences are as follows. One is rape, assault or use of criminal force to a woman with the intention of outraising her modesty is punishable under section 354 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 as an offence of outraging the modesty of a woman. Throwing a woman down, stripping her, pressing breast, etc. are good examples of breaking of shame. Hitting a woman on the hips is considered a disgrace. Similarly, trying to make physical contact with working women, doing obscene acts, showing them erotic pictures, other indecent or obscene behavior has been considered as sexual harassment. Vishaka, State of Rajasthan, AIR 1990, SC 3011. What is rape? Rape is sexual intercourse with a woman against her will and without her consent, or by obtaining her consent under illusion. Fear or coercion, section 375 Indian Penal Code. It is considered the most serious and heinous sexual crime. In the cases of Bhupendra Sharma versus State of Himachal Pradesh, EIR 2003 SC 4684 and State of Maharashtra versus Chandra Prakash Jain, EIR 1990 SC 658. The Supreme Court considering it a serious sexual offence. The court has recommended severe punishment for the guilty. Unnatural offence. Voluntary sensual pleasure by a person. Voluntary sensual pleasure by a person against the order of nature with any man, woman or animal is an unnatural offence under section 377 of the Code. Anal sex means sodomy. Bestiality, oral sex, etc. are good examples of this. These are also sex crimes in cases of Grace Germany versus P.P. Peter, AIR 1982, Karnataka 46. Penetration of the penis into a woman's anus and oral sex have been considered as sexual offences. What is adultery? This is also a form of sex crime. It consists of sexual intercourse by a man with a married wife of another man without the consent of such man, which does not amount to rape. For example, A had sexual intercourse with C, the married wife of B, with the consent of C but without the consent of B. This is adultery, section 497 Indian Penal Code. What is prostitution? It is the most prevalent sex crime. In this, a woman surrenders her body to another person in exchange for money. Prostitution has been made a punishable sexual offence under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. Reasons of sexual offences. There are many reasons for sexual crimes. Here we will mention some of the main reasons. The main reasons for sexual crimes are as follows. One is poverty. The first reason for sexual crime is poverty. When the economic condition of the family is bad and there are no other means of livelihood, then women are forced into prostitution and adultery. Beccaria says that due to poverty, hunger, etc., a person is compelled to commit crime. Sex. What is sex? The second reason for sexual crimes is the propensity of human sex. Being influenced by sex, a person commits rape, unnatural sex, anal sex, animal sex, etc. A person becomes blind in front of sexuality and commits crimes for his sexual satisfaction. Wealthy people are generally more inclined towards sexual crimes. Family circumstances. Family circumstances are also responsible for sexual offences. Due to family dispute, divorce between husband and wife, quarrelsome tendency, etc., a person steps towards sexual crimes. When there is a dispute between the husband and wife or the marriage breaks up, then they take the path of prostitution, adultery, etc. When there is no sexual satisfaction at home, a person goes out for sex or sense enjoyment, lack of proper housing arrangement. When the number of family members is excessive and there is a lack of proper accommodation for them, then sexual crimes start increasing. When there is too much crowd in the family, men and women sleep in the same room, due to which it is natural to awaken sex drive in a person, then many times a person sees someone doing sexual intercourse in crowded houses. When such a feeling develops in him too, and he commits a sexual crime. What is addiction? Addiction, which we can also call intoxication, is one of the causes of sexual crimes. When a person gets excessively intoxicated, then he loses his senses and commits rape, unnatural crimes, etc. Most of the criminals of the rape and unnatural sex are found in an inebriated state. What is pornography? Pornography has led to an increase in sexual crimes. But today there is a lot of pornography in the market. Erotic articles, stories, pictures, etc. awaken sex drive in a person, and to pacify it, he resorts to rape, prostitution, adultery, unnatural sex, etc. Cinema and Doordarshan. Sexual crimes are also caused by obscene films shown on cinema and Doordarshan. By watching erotic films and serials, sexual desire arises in a person and its result is sexual crime. A person also learns the techniques of sexual crime from cinema and Doordarshan channels. The erotic scene has an adverse effect on the young mind. Blue films lead a person to commit sexual offences. Nude pictures, sensual scene, erotic dialogue, etc. are proving to be first for the society today. Co-education. Although co-education is an indicator of progressive thinking, but it also has many disadvantages. Many a times young students establish sexual relation out of ignorance, sensuality, or being carried away by emotion. As a result, they either turn to prostitution or rape. These days, news of incidents of rape and prostitution are often being heard in schools, colleges, universities, and hostels. Moral and character degradation. One of the main reasons for sexual crimes is also the moral and character degradation of the person due to lust, anger, pride, fascination, greed, temptation, a person commits sexual crimes along with other crimes. Many times money misleads a person and he commits acts like rape, adultery, prostitution. These are the main reasons for sexual crimes. Apart from these, there can be other reasons also. What is rape? What are its essential ingredients? This is a serious and heinous crime. The Supreme Court has called it a crime against humanity. State of Rajasthan versus Om Prakash, year 2002 SC 1335. In another case, the Supreme Court itself has held rape to be a violation of the fundamental rights to life and personal liberty guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. State of Punjab versus Ramdev Singh, AIR 2004 SC 1290. In this way, rape is the most serious and antisocial crime among sexual crimes. What is rape? Rape is sexual intercourse or copulation by a man with a woman against her will. In section 375 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, its definition is given as follows. 375 rape. A man is said to commit rape if he penetrates his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person, or inserts to any extent any object or a part of the body, not being the penis, into the vagina, the urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person, or manipulates any part of the body of a woman so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus or any part of body of such woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person, or applies his mouth to the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person under these circumstances falling under any of the following 7 descriptions. First, against her will. Secondly, without her consent. Thirdly, with her consent. When her consent has been obtained by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death or of hurt. Fourthly, with her consent when the man knows that he is not her husband and that her consent is given because she believes that he is another man to whom she is or believes herself to be lawfully married. Fifthly, with her consent when at the time of giving such consent by reason of unsoundness of mind or intoxication or the administration by him personally or through another of any stupefying or unwholesome substance. She is unable to understand the nature. She is unable to understand the nature and consequences of that to which she gives consent. Sixthly, with or without her consent when she is under 18 years of age. Seventhly, when she is unable to communicate consent. Explanation 1. For the purpose of this section, vagina shall also include labia majora. Explanation 2. Consent means an unequivocal voluntary agreement when the woman by words, gestures or any form of verbal or non-verbal communication communicates willingness to participate in the specific sexual act, provided that a woman who does not physically resist to the act of penetration shall not be the reason only of that fact be regarded as consenting to the sexual activity. Exception 1. A medical procedure or intervention shall not constitute rape. Exception 2. Exception 1. A medical procedure or intervention shall not constitute rape. Sexual intercourse or sexual acts by a man with his own wife, the wife not being under 15 years of age, is not rape. This definition has been replaced by the Criminal Law Amendment Act 1213. Overall, it can be said that rape is forced sexual intercourse or sexual intercourse by a man with a woman. For example, A finding a girl named B alone in the forest, strips her naked and forcibly has sexual intercourse with her by throwing her on the ground. This is rape. Essential element. The following essential elements are reflected in the above definition of rape. Sexual intercourse by a man with a woman. The first essential element of rape is sexual intercourse by a man with a woman who is not his wife, and a wife she is under 15 years of age. Near sensual penetration, however slight it may be, is sufficient to constitute the offence of rape, that is, intercourse. Ejaculation is not necessary for this. A. Ventrao versus the State of Andhra Pradesh, AIR 2004, SC 1874. Then the woman cannot be held guilty of the offence of rape. Rameshwar Kalyan Singh versus the State of Rajasthan 1952, SCR 377. Thus, the first essential element of rape is sexual intercourse by a man with a woman. Lack of consent. Consent has an important place in the crime of rape. If coitus is committed with the consent of a woman who is not under 16 years age, it is not rape. Consent is a good defense to rape, provided she has been free. For example, at the time of intercourse, the woman does not resist, does not even scream, nor does she say that she was forcibly pulled or dropped. Even when someone sees it, it hides. It is not rape just because it is consensual sex. Mohanlal versus the State of Rajasthan, AIR 2003, SC 696. The following are essential for sexual intercourse to constitute rape. One is, it is done against the will. A coitus is rape if it is done against the will of the woman. It is a form of consent when a woman does not have the desire for sexual intercourse and has coitus with her by force or by keeping her under illusion. That would be called rape. For example, a doctor having sex with a patient woman, saying that it is a part of therapy, is rape, because there was lack of desire of the woman. Williams case 1850, A. Cox, 220. Similarly, if a teacher sexually assaults a student learning music by saying that it is necessary to improve her voice, then it is rape. In this, the disciple has no desire to have sex. Williams case 1923, 1 KB 340. In fact, in such cases, The copulation is false. A woman has no desire for sex. It is done without consent. Sexual intercourse is rape if it is done without the free consent of the woman. Consent plays an important role in the formation of such an offense. The special thing here is that it is necessary to have free consent. If consent for coitus is obtained under fear, pressure, confusion, fraud, intoxication, or in a state of unsound mind, then it will not be called free consent. In section 375, the following opinions are not considered as independent opinions. If she is obtained under the impression that he means the man is her husband and that the woman is his lawfully wedded wife when in fact she is not. If it is not obtained in a state of unsound mind or intoxication, because in such condition the woman is incapable of understanding the nature and consequences of the fact. If the consent is obtained by putting the woman or any person interested in her in fear of death or hurt, and if the consent is given by a woman who is under 18 years of age, consent obtained in the above circumstances has no value in the eyes of law, and sexual intercourse done under such consent amounts to rape. Sexual intercourse was failed to be rape, as the woman, being of unsound mind, was incapable of understanding the nature and consequences of the act. Tulsidas, Talolkar vs. State of Goa, EIR 2004, SC 978. But in another case, sexual intercourse with a woman 4 times was also not considered rape, because it was done with free consent. In this, the accused had sexual intercourse with a woman 4 times. The front part of the woman's breast had turned red, but the sexual intercourse was not resisted by the woman, and there were also no signs of force or resistance on his body. Jagannath vs. State of Rajasthan, 1979, CRLG 228, Rajasthan. In the case of State of Maharashtra vs. Prakash, year 1992, SC 1275, sexual intercourse by a tradesman and a constable with a working woman was held to be rape, because the woman was not a prostitute and that money was not demanded by him, and the sexual intercourse was committed by intimidation and threat. It is worth mentioning here that rubbing the panish on the vagina of a girl after stripping her and causing semen to ejaculate on the vagina by such rubbing would not be rape but attempt to rape, because the panish has not been penetrated in it. Madan Lal vs. State Jammu and Kashmir, AIR 1998, SC 386, State of Maharashtra vs. Rajendra Jawan Mal Gandhi, AIR 1997, SC 3986. In the case of Aman Kumar vs. State of Haryana, AIR 2004, SC 1497, it has been held by the Supreme Court that mere penetration is sufficient for rape. There can be only a small amount of entry. The depth of penetration, semen discharge, and whether or not the hymen is ruptured or immaterial. Thus, on the whole, it can be said that sexual intercourse under the circumstances mentioned in the section 375 is rape. Evidence. Rape is the result of a secret act. So there is a lack of eyewitness evidence in such cases. In such cases, generally two types of evidence are available. One is statement of the victim woman and two is the report of the medical examination. The question arises whether the accused can be convicted on both these grounds. In the case of Bhupendra Sharma versus State of Himachal Pradesh, AIR 2003 SC 4684, it has been held by the Supreme Court that in rape cases, the evidence of the victim may be sufficient. His confirmation is not necessary. Similarly, in the case of Sudhanshu Shekhar versus State of Odisha, AIR 2003 SC 136, it has been held by the Supreme Court itself that the evidence of a rape victim can convict the accused, provided that it is safe, reliable and acceptable. In the case of State of Maharashtra, versus Prakash, AIR 1992 SC 1275, first information report and medical evidence were held to be sufficient for conviction in rape cases. In one case it has been held that conviction in rape cases can be made only on the basis of the conduct and circumstances of the accused. Nagarjan versus State of Tamil Nadu, AIR 1995, SC 1926. Thus, in cases of rape, the rapist can be punished only on the basis of the victim woman and medical evidence, provided it is credible. What is penalty? In section 376, 376A, 376B, 376C and 376D of the Indian Penal Code 1860, the following punishments have been provided for the crime of rape. 376 punishment for rape. Whoever except in the cases provided for in subsection 2 is 376 punishment for rape, commits rape shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment of either prescription for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, shall be punished and shall also be liable to fine. Whoever being a police officer commits rape within the limits of the police station to which such police officer is appointed, or in the premises of any station house, or on a woman in such police officer's custody, or in the custody of a police officer subordinate to such police officer, or being a public servant commits rape on a woman in such public servant's custody, or in the custody of a public servant subordinate to such public servant, etc. To such public servant, or being a member of the armed forces deployed in an area by the central or state government commits rape in such areas, or being on the management or on the staff of a jail, remand home or other place of custody established by or under any law for the time being in force, or of a women's or children's institution commits rape on any inmate of such jail, remand home, place or institution, or being on the management or on the staff of a hospital commits rape on a woman in that hospital, or being a relative, guardian or teacher of or a person in a position of trust or authority towards the woman commits rape on such woman, or commits rape during communal or sectarian violence, or commits rape on a woman knowing her to be pregnant, or commits rape on a woman when she is under 16 years of age, commits rape on a woman incapable of giving consent or being in a position of control or dominance over a woman, commits rape on such woman, or commits rape on a woman suffering from mental or physical disability, or physical committing rape causes grievous bodily harm or maims or disfigures or endangers the life of a woman, or commits rape repeatedly on the same woman, shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and shall also be liable to fine. Brief explanation for the purpose of this subsection. One is armed forces means the naval, military and air forces, and includes any member of the armed forces constituted under any law for the time being in force, including the paramilitary forces and any auxiliary forces that are under the control of the central government or the state government. Two is hospital means the principal of the hospital and includes the precincts of any institution for the reception and treatment of persons during conventions or of persons requiring medical attention or rehabilitation. Police officer shall have the same meaning as assigned to the expression police under the Police Act 1861, 5 of 1861. Women's or children's institution means an institution, whether called an orphanage or a home for neglected women or children, or a widow's home, or an institution called by any other name, which is established and maintained for the reception and care of women or children. Section 376A. Punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. Whoever commits an offence punishable under subsection 1 is, or subsection 2 is of section 376, and in the course of such commission inflicts an injury which causes the death of the woman, or causes the woman to be in persistent vegetative state, shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life or with death. 376 AV, punishment for rape and punishment for rape on women under 12 years of age. Whoever commits a rape on a woman under 12 years of age shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life and with fine or with death, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. 376b, sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation. Whoever had sexual intercourse with his own wife who is living separately, whether under a decree of separation or otherwise, without her consent, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 2 years, but which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. In its explanation, in this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the acts mentioned in clauses A to B of section 375. 376C, sexual intercourse by a person in authority, whoever being in a position of authority or in a fiduciary relationships or public servant or superintendent or manager of a jail, remand home or other place of custody established by or under any law for the time being in force, or a women or children's institution, on the management of a hospital or being on the staff of a hospital, abuses such position or fiduciary relationship to induce or seduce any woman either in his custody or under his charge or present in the premises to have sexual intercourse with him, such sexual intercourse not amounting to the offense of rape shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, but which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. In explanation 1, in this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the acts mentioned in clause A to B of section 375. Explanation 2, for the purpose of this section, explanation 1 to section 375 shall also be applicable. Explanation 3 says superintendent in relation to a jail, remand home or other place of custody or a women or children institution includes a person holding any other office in such jail, remand home, place or institution by virtue of which such person can exercise any authority or control over its inmates. Expression number 4 says the expression hospital and women's or children institution shall respectively have the same meaning as in explanation 2, subsection 2 of section 376. 376b, gang rape, where a woman is raped by one or more persons, constituting a group or acting in furtherance of a common intention. Each of those persons shall be deemed to have committed the offense of rape and shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which may extend to life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person, natural life, and with fine, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. 300 Section 376 DA, punishment of gang rape on women under 16 years of age. Where a woman under 16 years of age is raped by one or more person constituting a group or acting in furtherance of a common intention, each of those persons shall be deemed to have committed the offence of rape and shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and with fine, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. 376 DV, punishment for gang rape on women under 20 years of age. Where a woman under 12 years of age is raped by one or more persons constituting a group or acting in furtherance of a common intention, each of those persons shall be deemed to have committed the offence of rape and shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and with fine or with death, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. 376E, punishment for repeat offenders. Whoever has been previously convicted of an offence punishable under section 376 or section 376A or section 376B or section 376B or section 376DA or section 376BB and is subsequently convicted of an offence punishable under any of the said section shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life or with death. Severe punishment has always been recommended in cases of rape. In the case of Bhupendra Sharma vs. State of Himachal Pradesh, EIR 2003, SC 4684, it has been held by the Supreme Court that in the cases of gang rape, punishment less than the minimum punishment is not justified. Similarly, in state of Maharashtra vs. Chandra Prakash, Keval Chand Jain, EIR 1990 SC 658, it has been held by the Supreme Court itself that rape of a young girl by a police officer in uniform, but such a person does not deserve sympathy regarding punishment. Let us explain the medico-legal importance of rape. The medico-legal importance of rape is much more than other crimes, because it is the result of secret and forced act. Its medical legal importance can be studied under the following heads. It is done against the will of the woman. The crime of rape is committed against the will of the woman and without her consent. If sexual intercourse is done with the consent of a woman above 16 years of age, it is not considered rape. But such consent must have independent property. If consent is obtained by intimidation, fraud, use of force or illusion, then it will not be called free consent. Similarly, if sexual intercourse is done with a woman who is in a dormant state or is intoxicated or is under the influence of drugs or is in a state of unconsciousness, then even such a woman cannot give valid consent who is mentally perverted or immature and does not understand anything about the nature and consequences of the act. If a woman is of bad character, it is very difficult to draw conclusions about her consent. Consent is determined from the medico-legal point of view, keeping the following points in mind. Can a single man possibly have sexual intercourse with a conscious woman? What was the resistance, power or capacity of the woman at the time of sexual intercourse? Can sexual intercourse be done with a virgin in her sleep or without her knowledge? Because for the first time it is natural to become sleepy or aware. Thus in cases of rape, consent is a crucial point. Nagarjun versus State of Maharashtra, year 1995 SC, 1926, it is done by using force. It is done by using force. There is definitely some use of force in rape. So it is considered necessary that the victim of rape should continue to resist. Resistance cannot be done in any form, such as crying, shouting, hitting, biting, snatching, scratching, etc. Resistance detection is a very difficult task. An attempt is made to detect such resistance by medical examination. The amount of resistance depends on the following factors. One is age, two is physical strength, three is social status, four is the conduct of the woman, five is virginity, etc. When the woman is not aware of the rape, it is not necessary at the time of sexual intercourse that the woman should know that she is being raped. This usually happens in the following circumstances. When the woman is in dormant state, is in an unconscious state, is under delusion, is under the influence of any intoxicant, be asleep, sleep is open but the woman is lying in the dark, etc. In such a situation, it is ascertained through medical examination whether the woman was not in the above states at the time of sexual intercourse. Lawful use of force can also be rape. Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 provides an exception for the offence of rape. According to this, if the husband had sexual intercourse with his wife by using force and without her consent, then it is not considered rape, because it is presumed that the consent of the husband to sexual intercourse was given by the wife at the time of marriage. But for the applicability of its exception, it is necessary that the age of the wife should not be less than 15 years. If the age of the wife is less than 15 years, then such sexual intercourse by the husband can also come under the category of rape. In such cases, rape has medico-legal significance from the point of view of age. Sexual intercourse. The essential element of rape is sexual intercourse. The essential element of rape is sexual intercourse. Sex means the entry of the male penis into the vagina of the female. That is the entry of the senses, penetration. However, slight had been held to be necessary to constitute the offence of rape. It had been held by the Supreme Court in the case of Rao versus State of Andhra Pradesh, AR 2004 SC 1874, that penetration alone is sufficient to constitute the offence of rape. Semen slugging is not necessary. Similarly, in the case of Aman Kumar versus the State of Haryana, AIR 2004 SC 1497, It has been held that the penetration of the senses need not be complete. The depth of penetration, ejaculation and rupture of the vaginal septum etc. are immaterial. It is also not necessary that sexual intercourse should cause injury or damage to the genitals of a woman. In such a situation, it is very difficult to provide the effects of rape. Kissing a woman, pressing her breast, stripping her neck, etc. can be a shame, but rape is not. Similarly, rubbing the penis on the vagina of a woman or girl, ejaculating on her, etc. is not considered rape, but is considered an attempt to rape. Madan Lal versus the State of Jammu and Kashmir, AIR 1998 SC 386. In such cases, the female genitals are examined. Such tests are generally recommended to be done by the female doctor. Rape can be committed by a man of any age on a woman of any age. In cases of rape, the question of the age of a man or a woman is not very important. Rape can be committed by a man of any age with a woman of any age. In such cases, the important point is physical ability. An 8-year-old girl can be raped by an 80-year-old woman. By an 80-year-old man, but not by a woman. For example, women cannot be blamed for the rape. Rameshwar Kalyan Singh versus the State of Rajasthan 1952 SCR 377. Then bestiality and sex etc. are not considered rape, but unnatural crimes. These are all subject to clinical trials. Let us explain the procedure of medical test of male and female in the rape case. In cases of rape, the trial of both the woman and the man accused is considered very important. Several important facts emerge from such a test. Here we will study both the tests separately. Test of women. Medical examination of a rape victim should be done with utmost care. The following points are required to be taken care of while conducting such a test. The written consent of the woman should be obtained before the test. The woman's genitals should be examined against her will and without her consent. He shall be informed of the fact of the examination of his genitals before consent is obtained. If the woman is a minor or of unsound mind, the consent of her guardian should be obtained. If the woman is a minor or of unsound mind, the consent of her guardian should be obtained. The medical examination to be generally conducted by a female doctor. The presence of a nurse or relative of the woman should be ensured at the time of examination. Here the test does not mean only the test of the genitals of the woman. Other things are also required to be obtained, such as the name and address of the woman, name and address of the father or husband, age, time of trial, consent, identification mark, etc. The tests are expected to be conducted at the earliest. If there is a delay in the examination, the reasons for the delay should be recorded in writing. The following information should be obtained from the rape victim before the test. The name and address of the rapist, place, date, time, the force used, whether there was pain during sexual intercourse, whether bleeding occurred, whether semen was ejaculated, how much did the senses enter, did not take bath after sexual intercourse, didn't change clothes after sex, whether the private parts have been washed, did not pass urine, etc. Now let us consider other aspects of testing. Sign of resistance. First of all, the signs of resistance on the woman's body should be tested, because if the sexual intercourse is done without the consent of a woman, then the signs of resistance will definitely be found on her body. In this regard, attention is expected to be given to the following points. The clothing should be examined in proper light so that no fat remains hidden. The woman's blouse, petticoat, sari, pant, underwear, etc. may get torn or its button may break due to resistance. This matter should be carefully looked into. Mud, grass stains may be found on the clothes. Stains of blood, semen or menstruation can be found on the clothes. Such clothes should be sent for chemical test. Male hair can be found on the female clothes or genital. Such hair should also be stored and chemically tested. Locard's theory of reciprocity also says that in cases of rape, men and women can find each other's hair on the genitals or other part of the body. Resistance or other signs of damage may be found on the following parts of the woman's body: genitals, thighs, on the abdomen, around the navel, near the breast, cheeks, neck, hair, mouth, etc. Bruises, abrasions, teeth, bite marks, skin lacerations, nail marks, tea cut marks, etc. can be found at these places. Examination of genitals means vagina. Examination of genitals is considered an important place in rape cases. Many important facts can be revealed by the examination of the genitals, and a decisive situation can also be reached. At the time of examination of the genitals, attention should be paid mainly to the following points. One is the test should be carried out as soon as possible. Must be done in proper light. Should be done with great patience, passion and care. Should be performed as far as possible by a female doctor. A woman should not feel unnecessary shyness or agitation. The test can also be done during menstruation. The test should be performed in the lithotomy position. That is, the woman should be tested with the eyes spread, the labia dilated. Essential test points: the genital districts of the rape victim should be examined with reference to the following point: signs of damage. The woman's vagina and vagina are affected by rape. So the examination of the vulva and vagina should be done keeping in view the signs of damage, redness, scratches, research marks, etc. can be found on the genitals of a woman, which should be written down. When damage is caused to the genitals, there is a difference in the walk of the woman. There may be pain while walking. You can also walk by spreading your legs. Such a woman should be driven and examined. The extension of vagina should also be seen. It should also be seen that how many fingers can enter the vagina without any pain or discomfort. If the rape is the result of first time intercourse, the following points should be taken into consideration: whether there is glucose on the vulva or not, whether there is swelling or fissure on the vulva. The opening of the hymen should be examined. The opening of the hymen should be examined by spreading the labia. The clitoris is ruptured in the first copulation. The lacerated edges of the hymen become red in color after rape. Bleeding starts from vaginal excision. The back part of the vaginal wall gets ruptured by using more force. The entry of the finger into the vagina usually results in rupture of the vagina on one side, etc. If rape is committed on a woman who is like stormed to sex. The following points are worth noting. One is by pressing the face or head with a pillow, or the hymen is really destroyed. The opening of the vagina is dilated. The synovium is locally shriveled and hurt. If excessive force is not used, such woman is either not injured or is only marginally injured. The marks of violence are more likely to be found on other parts of the body than on the genitals. Such women are more likely to get bruises and lacerations from the fingers of the rapist. Sperm in the vagina and sperm spots on clothes are more important in the test of such women, etc. If rape is committed with a girl or girl child, then its symptoms are somewhat different. Compared to other women, the vagina of girls is very small and the vagina is deep. This is the reason that the adult male's penis usually does not enter completely in the vagina of such girls. The man does not even attempt full penetration. He tries to insert it in the vulva or between the thighs. If full penetration is attempted by using excessive force, there is a possibility of excessive tearing of the tissue and it may burst into the perineum up to the anus. If force is not used, redness will be found only on the vulva and there will be pain. Signs of resistance are generally not found on the body or clothes of girls because they do not have the ability to resist. Presence of sperm in the vagina. Sperm test has its own importance in rape cases. If a woman is raped, sexual intercourse, then sperm will definitely be found in her vagina. Normally the power of movement of sperm remains in the vagina for about 2 hours. Therefore, if such moving sperms are found, then the time of sexual intercourse, for example, the duration can bring down. But if sperm are not found, then it should not be assumed that coitus has not taken place because it may be there is no sperm, there is no emission of semen, or the person who committed the rape has undergone sterilization. Apart from these, the following things are also expected to be taken care of. Whether there is any discharge from the woman's vagina and urinary tract. The woman does not have venereal disease. If there is venereal disease, then for what reason is it? Do men also suffer from venereal disease? Whether venereal disease occurred after rape or was deferred, was there before, etc. In this way, the fact of rape can be ascertained from the above test. These tests are very important from the medical legal point of view. Male medical examination in cases of rape along with the woman. Medical examination of the man is also considered necessary. The following things should be taken care if in the medical examination of a man by pressing the face or head with a pillow. For such medical examination should be carried out as soon as possible after the incident. After the rape, the accused should not be allowed to go to the toilet or bathroom until the trial is over, as this may create a possibility of the accused erasing semen stain and other marks. The statements of the accused should also be taken into account. Consent is not required for the medical examination of the accused. The medical examination of the man or accused should be done in the following manner. First of all, the following information should be obtained about the accused. His name and full address, age, occupation, past conduct, consent, marks of identification, physical ability and development of man, mental condition. He is not intoxicated. What is the condition of the clothes? Are there any stains of semen, blood, etc. on the clothes, etc.? There is no hair on the private parts or on the clothes or other parts of the body of the woman. There are no marks of injury or damage on his body. The test of the penis should be done keeping the following points in mind. Whether fecal matter is present? If yes, then coitus cannot take place in the last 24 hours as coitus destroys it. Whether the frenum is ruptured or not, if it is fissured, it indicates that the copulation has been done recently. Whether there are vaginal epithelial cells on the penis or not is not important. He does not have a venereal disease. There are the important points of the medical examination of a man. When the medical officer comes for evidence in the court, then he should be asked question in this context. What is the unnatural offences? Let's explain its medico-legal importance and procedure of medical test. Unnatural crime is also a sexual crime. This is the second heinous crime after rape in the series of sexual crimes. What is unnatural crime? Where rape is committed by a man on a woman. An unnatural offense includes sexual intercourse by a man other than a woman with a man or with animal or as a man with a woman. It has been named unnatural crime because it goes against the laws of nature. Nature allows sexual intercourse or coitus only in opposite sexes, though that too is limited. Thus, if any person with a man or with the animal or like a man with a woman, if he had sexual intercourse, then it is certainly against the laws of nature. In the legal service language, such sexual intercourse is addressed by the name of anal sex, perverse sex or animal sex. In section 377 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, its definition has been given as follows: whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman or animal shall be punished with imprisonment for life, imprisonment for life, or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. In its explanation, penetration is sufficient to constitute the carnal intercourse necessary to the offence described in this section. In relation to unnatural offences, West Germany vs. E.P. Peter AIR 1982, the Natka 46 is a suitable case in this. The husband used to always keep the penis in the mouth of his wife, but also used to have anal sex. That is, the penis used to enter the anus. It was considered an unnatural crime. Unnatural sex, for example, anal sex, oral sex, etc., being a punishable offence under section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, has also been considered a good ground for dissolution of marriage. Lavina Yark vs. Terence vs. Yark, AIR 1997, Delhi, 346. Medico-legal importance. The medico-legal importance of unnatural offence can be kept under the following heads. Anal sex is the most prevalent unnatural crime. Generally, the following people resort to anal sex for the satisfaction of their sexual desire. Persons who stay away from home for a long time, such as drivers, porters, agents, etc. And accused serving long sentence. An accused serving a long sentence. Unmarried person, etc. Anal sex can be done by a man with a man or a man with a woman as a man. If anal sex is done with a boy, it is called catamite. There are two types of activities, in and sex, activity and passive. There are two types of activities in anal sex, active and passive. The person who performs the act of anal sex is called active, and the one on whom such action is performed is called passive person or partner. There is no question of consent in anal sex. If a man commits anal intercourse with his wife, he cannot take the plea of consent in defense. There is also no provision of age for anal sex. It can be done by any person of any age with any age. Clinical trial. Medical examination has an important place in cases of anal sex. Clinical trials make it easy to reach a conclusive position. Before medical examination, the following information should be obtained about both active and inactive persons, namely name and address, age, sex, occupation, past conduct, identification marks, time of examination, etc. It is worth mentioning here that the consent of the passive participant in anal intercourse should be obtained before the test. Examination of genitals. First of all, the private parts of the passive partner, for example his anus, should be tested. The following symptoms of sexual intercourse can be reflected on his anus. The anus is dilated. Pressing the anus causes pain. There may be sign of rubbing in the middle of the anus. In the case of forced anal sex, the mucous membrane of the anus can be torn from any side. There may be pain while walking or during defecation, etc. But if a person is used to anal sex, then some different symptoms can be found on his anus, such as the skin around the anus is smooth and thick. The anus is deeper than normal. The anus is loose. The anus opens. Placenta is dilated. Internal or external piles can be found, etc. If a person is used to anal sex, then some different symptoms can be found. The skin around the anus is thick. The anus is deeper than normal. The anus is loose. The anus opens. Placenta is dilated. Internal or external piles can be found, etc. Other signs apart from the above symptoms, the following signs of anal sex can be found on the body of an inactive person. Sperm in the anus. Sperm on clothes. Venereal disease. Marks of resistance on the body such as bruises, wounds, scratches, etc. The hairs around the anus may be glued together by sperm. Lubricating substances like oil, Vaseline, etc. can be found in and around the anus because such substances are commonly used in anal sex. In one case, machine oil was found on the passive partner's anus, which indicates that turns out anal sex was done by a tailor with his co-worker. Marks or stains of push, feces or blood may be found on the clothes, etc. In such cases, the person involved in the anal sex act, that is, for example, the accused is also medically examined. The following signs or symptoms related to anal sex can be found on the active person's body. Bruises or marks of abrasion may be found on the penis of such person. Foul smell or feces can be found on the penis. If oil, Vaseline, etc. have been used in anal sex, then its symptoms and smell can be found on the penis. Stains of blood, fishes or venous may be found on the clothes. Symptoms of venereal disease can be found. Perineum may be torn. The penis of a person habitual of anal sex is long. The penis of a person habitual of anal sex is long, narrow in width, and the urinary tract is generally through, etc. Animal movement. In the series of unnatural offences, animal promiscuity comes next after anal sex. Nowadays, the nature of animal movement is continuously increasing. In animal sex, a woman or a man had sex with an animal through anus or vagina. Generally, animals like dog, cat, sheep, goat, hen, pig, donkey, etc. are used in this work. Women often use dogs and women. Women often use dogs and men use sheep. Mainly the following reasons can be there for the tendency of cattle grazing, satisfaction of sexual desire, unmarried state, mental disorder, easy availability of animals, lack of fear of complaint, etc. What are the clinical trials in it? In cases of animal trafficking, medical examination of both the accused and the animal is considered very important. The following signs of animal movement can be found on the body of the accused. The presence of animal faces near the penis of the male, marks of damage on the penis, spots of animal faces, animal hair, marks of kicking, biting or clawing by the animal, the presence of animal semen in the vagina of a woman, rupture of a hymen, etc. Similarly, on the medical examination of the animal, the following symptoms can be found on its body. The presence of human sperm in the vagina of the animal. The presence of similar spermatozoa in the anus. Human hair sticking to the body of the animal. Finding marks of injury in the vagina or anus of the animal, etc. It is desirable to send the spots of hair, semen, blood or fishes found on animal and human body and genitals for chemical test. In its what is oral sex? Oral sex, also known as oral sex, is a form of unnatural offences in which the man gets his penis sucked by placing it in the mouth of a woman or a man. Similarly, women lick their vagina. By these two activities, man and woman get sexual pleasure. Generally, whether man and woman resort to such activity, many times teeth marks are found on the male penis due to such activities. Many times teeth marks are found on the male penis. Other types of sex apart from these other activities are also performed by men and women to get sexual pleasure, such as inserting fingers in vagina, candle, banana, brinjal, cucumber, sweet potato or artificial penis, masturbation, etc. These activities give sexual pleasure. Apart from these, in such cases, traces of penetrative substances can be found in the woman's vagina. Fingernails marks can be found in the vagina by doing intercourse by inserting the finger. In cases of male masturbation, the following symptoms may appear. The foreskin keeps sliding above the planes. The foreskin keeps sliding above the glands. Lubrication is found on the penis. There is curvature of the penis. Traces of laceration are visible in the ligament connecting the glands and the penis. The root part of the penis becomes thinner than the glans heart, etc. What is hurt and grievous hurt? Explain with examples. What is medical-legal importance of both these injuries? Hurt is the most prevalent crime. We shall discuss tomorrow. I thank all my brothers and sisters. I thank all. I thank all teacher trainers. I thank all professionals. I thank all listener learners. I thank respected doctors and directors. I thank all honorable minister managers. I thank all honorable advocates and administrators. The most valuable present person Modi ji. Thanks. Thank